and you said it's been going on for a while, and you mentioned the NHS. So let's take the NHS and nurses. Last year, when there was a public sector pay freeze, the government said the nurses who've been working unbelievably hard deserve 3%, whilst the rest of the public sector was frozen. This year, the public sector pay review bodies recommended £1,400, which would mean that the starting salary of a nurse would hit about 31,000.
It's just complete bollocks, completely untrue. He knows it's not true. The interviewer should have known it's not true, yet it went completely unchallenged. The Conservative Party chairman had deliberately misled Sky viewers with the same figure just an hour earlier, again completely unchallenged.
The starting salary of a nurse would be £31,000.
The figure he's talking about includes extra earnings such as overtime and unsocial hours pay. Basic pay for a newly qualified nurse this year would be about £27,000, and thanks to the Conservative government scrapping the nurses' bursary, which had previously reimbursed their tuition fees, they now qualify tens of thousands of pounds in debt. Why wasn't this pointed out? The government's own website makes it clear that basic pay for a newly qualified nurse this year only rises to £31,000 if you include extra earnings like overtime. In a press statement on November 13th, the Health Secretary himself wrote, "A newly qualified nurse will now typically earn over £31,000 a year, including overtime and unsocial hours payments." Which brings us back to this.
The starting salary of a nurse would be £31,000. The starting salary of a nurse would hit about 31,000.
Since when does a starting salary include overtime and unsocial hours payments? When a government has to resort to deliberately misleading the public about nurses' pay, you know they've lost the argument. And all this comes just weeks after the Prime Minister promised the public this.
So one of my first jobs is to try and restore trust in government.
And that starts with being honest with people.
And it just gets worse. Despite what's written on the government's own website, the Health Secretary himself tweeted this. "A newly qualified nurse will typically earn over £31,000 a year." Again, the figure he's using is deliberately misleading, as it includes extra earnings such as overtime and unsocial hours pay, and he knows it. We literally cannot believe a word this lot say.